We are honored today to have Mr. Arthur Blank, to offer the commencement keynote address. Mr. Blank is the owner and chairman of the National Football League's Atlanta Falcons and is the co-founder of the Home Depot, the world's largest home improvement specialty retailer. Mr. Blank currently maintains a diverse portfolio of businesses, but all are operated on a common set of core values that focus on developing customer relationships, treating associates with respect, and supporting communities. Mr. Blank believes in the importance of making a difference, both professionally and personally. Consider this. During his 23 years with the Home Depot, the company donated more than $113 million to communities and provided hundreds of thousands of hours of personal volunteer time. Through his generosity, the Blank Family Foundation has granted more than $250 million to support early childhood development, education, the arts, and parks and green space. A native of Flushing, New York, Mr. Blank received a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration with distinction from Babson College, where he was active in a wide variety of extracurricular activities. A strong believer in work-life balance, Mr. Blank still makes time for working out, and consistent with the way he approaches both work and life, his favorite t-shirt appropriately reads, "There is no finish line." Please join me in welcoming to Auburn, Mr. Blank.
Thank you all very much. President Gooch, thank you very much. Dean Hardgrave, Dr. Goodwin, distinguished guests, faculty, friends, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to extend a special thanks to Dean Hardgrave and Ken Stevens for asking me to be here today. I'm not sure where Ken is, but thank you very much wherever you may be seated. Where is he? Over there. There you are. Okay, standing in the back. Okay, thank you very much. Ken and I go back to the days of Home Depot, and Ken found a number of new stores for us throughout the United States and Canada, and he's also one of yours. He's an alumni of the great university, and he's on the Dean's Advisory Council at the College of Business. Dean Hardgrave and Ken, it's very gracious of you both to ask me and ask a rival to speak to your students today, a rival first with our SEC Bulldogs, and now in the National Football League. So since we're in the same division against the Carolina Panthers, we get the absolute joy of playing against Cam Newton twice a year. And every time I see Cam, I think this is a tackle who's got a number for a quarterback. He is very good, he's very big, he's an outstanding player, an outstanding young man, and he proved that last year with his performance on the field and really off the field as well, with a series of Rookie of the Year awards by AP, Pro Football Weekly, Sporting News, and Sports Illustrated, all among them. So I'm sure you're all very proud of Cam, as you should be. So all rivalry aside, it is an honor for me to be here today. Graduates of Auburn University College of Business, this is a very special day for you from a variety of standpoints. It's a very special day for me as well. As I prepared for this day, I couldn't help but reflect upon my own journey, beginning with the spring of 49 years ago, long before you and even some of your parents were born. That day, I was just like a lot of you are today, getting ready to cross the stage at Babson College in this case, toward a new beginning. There I was, a very young man who grew up in a one-bedroom apartment in Queens, New York City, whose father died when I was 15, whose mother then took over a family business with no experience, and who earned spending money in college by starting up a landscape business and my own dry cleaning delivery service business. I was about to enter the business world with more questions than answers, and with no advantages other than what I could create myself, just like many of you sitting here today. The key difference is that you are entering the workforce in a more challenging environment on a number of fronts, starting with the uncertain economy that we're in the middle of. While we do see relative signs of improvement, I believe our economy is experiencing a permanent shift from the go-go days of the 90s technology bubble and the so-called golden era of the early 2000s. Turns out during those times we were in many ways setting ourselves up for failure as a country, making more money available to people who couldn't afford to pay it back, increasing our national debt beyond control, allowing and even encouraging excessive government spending, excessive business spending, financial market, personal spending. I don't think I left anybody out, and during this period of time we all were affected. All of those things have led to the crash of the financial markets, loss of jobs, and loss of homes for far too many people. I think it's a mistake for any of us to think that we'll ever return to the levels of prosperity of a decade ago, which in retrospect were mostly fabricated. Instead, I believe we're seeing and living in the new normal, a sustained period of time in which we will all become more grounded, more long-term thinking in the way we approach our lives, more value-oriented and more values-oriented. You're entering the business world in a challenging political environment as well, one that ranges from uncertainty and dissatisfaction in the United States to upheaval from a global perspective. And sadly, our country, in my view, is lacking in political courage during a time when we need it most. I'm a fan of New York Times columnist Thomas Friedman. In a recent column, he noted that our presidential candidates needed a credible plan to do three things: cut, tax, and invest. By this, he meant cut spending, including all entitlement programs, to fix the financial deficit we have, raise revenue through tax reforms, and use this revenue for defense and all of the things that have made this country a great country, the education from a public perspective, research, and building whatever infrastructures that are required throughout the United States. These goals, while short and simply stated, achieving them will be lengthy and a difficult process. They're going to require strength, require courage and perseverance from whoever is our next president. That's not a political statement, either one. Today, too many political leaders make short-term decisions with an eye on the next election, rather than focusing on doing the right thing for the long-term health, success, and the vibrancy of this country. One of my close friends is John Lewis, a U.S. representative for Georgia for going on 26 years. He is the congressional poster child for doing the right thing. Beginning with the Civil Rights Movement, Representative Lewis has spent his entire adult life standing up for others who couldn't stand up for themselves. Even in the mid-'60s, as he was being bullwhipped, tear-gassed, billy clubbed, and jailed 40 times, Congressman Lewis stood up for what he believed in a peaceful, nonviolent way. He calls his body of work over the last 45 years, plus building the beloved American community. John's track record in Congress over the past 25 years has nothing to do with being a Democrat or a Republican. He represents the best of the country because of his principles and because he walks the talk. We need more people like Congressman Lewis in leading our country. You may not have been around in the 60s, but you can learn this from John's pages in history. It's important to represent the best of who you are, even when things are not convenient or not easy. So your college degree is in hand today, but considering the challenges in front of you, I'd say your work has just begun, and you'll need to be more nimble, more flexible, more creative, and more courageous than your parents. Fortunately, you have the foundation here at Auburn in a place like that to do it. Your decision to attend this wonderful university, to take advantage of its approach to preparing for the total person, life after college will serve you well. Beyond the academics, you've learned about the importance of hard work, of honesty, of integrity, of balance in your life, and of helping others. Those were some of the same principles and values we employed when we started our company, the Home Depot. More than 30 years later, they're the same values that drive all of my current businesses, whether they be the Atlanta Falcons, our PGA Tour Superstores, our physical therapy centers, or the #1 rated guest ranch in the West Mountain Sky. And I can tell you from my experience that these values are fundamental and they make a difference. Let me give you a couple of examples. When my partner, Bernie Marcus, and I decided to open Home Depot, neither one of us had a whole lot of money. In fact, we'd just been fired from another home improvement center retailer. So we were tenacious in selling our story to potential investors, and we had to be tenacious. We weren't pitching a business plan on selling hammers and nails. It was a business plan that was focused on making people's problems go away and making their dreams become fulfilled for their homes and for their families. Finally, we got the startup funds we needed. Then we went through half of the seed money in the first 9 months in business. That wasn't the result we were looking for, but we didn't give up. If anything, it redoubled our efforts and all of our associates to respond to the needs of our customers. We still believed that we were doing the right thing, and we worked even harder to prove that we had a viable plan in place. And along the way, we learned the sense of importance of perseverance and listening and responding. And clearly, the hard work paid off for a number of years. It will pay off for you as well as you persevere and you make those commitments. A more recent story speaks to the importance of character and integrity. During my tenure and ownership of the Atlanta Falcons, which is going on 12 seasons now, we went through more coaching changes than I would like to admit, or that I would have liked under any circumstances. Some within our control and some were not within our control. So in 2008, when we set out to find another head coach, and along with a search for general manager, we were determined to get it right this time, to build the kind of sustainable winning organization that we needed to do, and we have done. Faithfully, my partner, Bernie Marcus, who doesn't know how to turn on a computer, figured it out one day, and he sent me an email. And he says something like this in the email: keep in mind how we hired people at Home Depot, first and foremost, based on character, integrity, and trust. It was a good reminder, so I let the football experts focus on the football side of the things, the X's and O's, and I focused on the person. Was he trustworthy? Did he have character? Was he a team player? Did he represent the best of us? Was he willing to learn, to grow? Did he want to be the very best? The ultimate hirings of Thomas Dimitroff, our general manager, and Coach Smith were pivotal moments for our Atlanta Falcons. First 4 years they were with us, the gentlemen were named Executive of the Year twice and Coach of the Year twice. They're both experts in their craft, and they're both great cultural fits for our club and for the franchise. Together, they've put together 4 consecutive back-to-back winning seasons, which is noteworthy because when I bought the team, they had never had back-to-back winning seasons, and in fact, we didn't have back-to-back winning seasons for 42 years, so 4 of them in a row is pretty impressive. They've done it paying attention to the best values of all of us. In a business that requires continuity to be successful, and I would argue that most businesses and every institution, character, integrity, and trust cannot be overstated. So my challenge to all of us and all of you is first, be honest with yourselves. Until you do that, you can't be honest with others. And until you're honest with others, you'll never be able to build the healthy, long-term trust relationships that are critical to a successful career and a successful personal life. As you embark on your careers, I'd also encourage you to become part of something bigger than you are and something that you're passionate about. English novelist E.M. Forster, who in the early 1900s wrote famous books like A Room with a View and A Passage to India, both of which were adapted into modern-day movies, once said, "One person with passion is better than 40 people who are merely interested." Imagine 40 people with passion working together, how powerful that is. If we had passion, the drive to succeed is there, and succeeding with a larger team of passionate people will take you to the heights, personally as well as professionally, beyond your individual capabilities. In all of my businesses, starting with Home Depot, I challenge our associates to answer the question, is this company, is this institution worthy of your life? And that speaks to the passion factor. And it also causes people to think about their balance between their work and their family and their life in general. A career is a significant investment of your time that will hopefully reap the kind of attractive financial returns that are important to you. But please, don't make it at the expense of your life and your families. I'm a firm believer in work-life balance. As a leader, if not healthy in mind and body, I cannot give my associates and my partners, my colleagues, everything they need. No one can be healthy in body and mind without taking care of himself or herself and without the emotional nurturing and support of family and friends. If you can't refuel your own tanks, you can't refuel anybody else's tanks. Find and fiercely protect this balance. You'll live in a richer and a more satisfying life if you do. My final topic would address the notion of social responsibility, and to do so, I'd like to first dispel the myth, and it is a myth, that American capitalism is all about profits. American capitalism isn't just about making money. For the most successful businesses, it's about meaning as well, connecting our deepest values to the work that we do, respect for the individual, helping others. And I believe that profits and values can coexist. We prove it at the Home Depot and proving again in all of our current businesses. When I retired from HD in 2001, we had just ranked #1 in social responsibility by a Harris poll, all while racking up a 23-year record of growth. 46% per year in growth in sales, 49% per year in earnings, and a stock that grew by 45%. Same time, voted #1 company in the United States in terms of social responsibility. During that same time, as mentioned, we donated more than $113 million to a variety of communities and charities, but we gave tens of thousands of hours of our associates back to the communities that we served, back to the citizenry that lived in those communities. So I still believe that corporations can be a powerful force for good in the world, and they can and they should serve people, not the other way around. The financial success will follow that. I'll close with one final piece of advice. As you enter the next phase of your lives, never let fear of failure or the potential of a setback paralyze you from decisions you'll have to make. If Bernie and I hadn't been fired, which I would label as a setback, we might not have started the Home Depot. Maintain your self-confidence, learn from your mistakes, and move on. In addition, especially in today's graduating entrepreneurial views, don't believe for a minute that there are too many constraints in our country to create new businesses or foster innovation. The country was built on innovation, which created jobs and turned the United States into a business and an economic powerhouse. Let the attorneys, the board members, the bankers worry about the constraints. We need your unencumbered minds, your creativity, and your risk-taking personalities to carry on the American dream. Michelangelo sums this up well. He says, the greater danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it's too low and we reach it. The greater danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it's too low and we reach it. My hope for all of you today is that you aim higher than you think possible, for then you will fulfill even the wildest dreams. Congratulations. I wish you all the very best. God bless you. Thank you very much.